On January 29, 2025, a devastating mid-air collision between an American Airlines flight and a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter occurred near Reagan National Airport. As search and rescue operations continued in the frigid waters of the Potomac River, questions about the cause and impact of this tragedy remain unanswered. The sequence of events leading to the crash is chilling. The American Airlines flight, operating as Flight 5342, was a Bombardier CRJ-700 regional jet traveling from Wichita, Kansas. The flight was scheduled to land at Reagan National Airport in the late evening hours, with 64 people on board, including 60 passengers and 4 crew members. Just moments before the plane was set to approach the runway, it collided mid-air with a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter, was part of a larger operation that provides transportation and rescue support in the Washington, D.C. area. The collision led to a fiery explosion, with both aircraft plummeting into the Potomac River below. Witnesses, including a man who was driving home at the time, described the scene with haunting clarity. He recounted seeing the plane flying normally at first, but then veering drastically to the right, sparks flying from underneath as it descended. Seconds later, everything went dark. This account is just one piece of the puzzle, leaving us to ask, how could this happen in such a busy and controlled airspace? As emergency teams rushed to the scene, the search for survivors began immediately. Hundreds of first responders, including divers, boats, and helicopters, battled freezing temperatures and treacherous conditions to locate any survivors in the dark, murky waters of the Potomac. The water temperature hovered just above freezing, which created an additional risk for rescuers and victims alike. Hypothermia could set in within minutes, and cold shock could incapacitate individuals in seconds, further complicating the efforts to find anyone who might have survived. In the first hours of the search, no survivors were recovered. The operation was described as one of the most complex and dangerous rescue missions in recent memory. John Donnelly, chief of DC Fire and EMS, confirmed that the conditions in the river were extremely rough, with floating ice and poor visibility making it nearly impossible to see or navigate in the frigid water. This raised another question. Could the timing and challenges of the rescue operation mean that no one would be found alive? As time went on, authorities indicated that the search would likely take days, further prolonging the uncertainty and anguish for the families of those aboard the plane and helicopter. Still, as of latest reports, no survivors have been found, and the authorities confirmed that fatalities had occurred, although the exact number has not been disclosed. The long wait for answers has left many families hoping for the impossible, that somehow, against all odds, their loved ones may still be pulled from the water. One of the most perplexing aspects of this tragedy is the timing and circumstances surrounding the collision itself. The airspace over Reagan National Airport is among the busiest in the country. Passenger jets, military aircraft, and helicopters all share the skies in this area, making the safe coordination of flights essential. According to air traffic control audio obtained by CNN, the helicopter was instructed to pass behind the passenger plane, and it appears there was a visual sighting by the helicopter pilot.
CRJ in flight. S25, pass on this CRJ. This club has a aircraft inside precision separation. Separate. 472 Washington Tower, 1 star, 32017. 472. American 3130, go around, turn left end 250, claim maintain 3000.
Yet despite these precautions, the collision still occurred. Was there a communication breakdown between the air traffic control tower and the pilots? Was there a technical malfunction or an error in judgment? The FAA and defense officials are still investigating these questions.
Commercial flights are equipped for ages with a system called TCAS. It tells the pilots in the cockpit how to avoid other airplanes nearby. And now investigators have an incredible amount of work cut out for them to figure out how a commercial airliner in the United States in 2025 collided with what is apparently a military or government helicopter. Nobody else uses them.
Beyond the immediate devastation, the human impact of this disaster cannot be overlooked. Among the passengers were several members of the U.S. figure skating community returning from a championship event in Kansas. In an emotional interview, one man whose wife was on the flight expressed his disbelief and helplessness.
I'm just praying that somebody's pulling her out of the river right now as we speak. That's all I can pray for. I'm just praying to God.
He had received a text from her saying she was about to land, but after that, communication had stopped.
She texted me that they were landing in 20 minutes. Landing in 20 minutes. The rest of my text did not get delivered. That's when I realized something might be up.
The tragedy had become personal for many, especially for the people of Kansas,